Here's your wrestling news for December 27th, 2025. Your headlines for today include former world champion confirms WWE return talks, fans split down the middle. Hendry wins big in first SmackDown match, shocking upset. Star suffers first loss of 2025 on SmackDown. WWE teases Cody Rhodes' next opponent, fans question the pick. Real reason behind Carmelo Hayes' United States title win revealed. SmackDown teases huge debut incoming, and more. Alberto Del Rio has confirmed he's actively in contact with both WWE and AAA, adding fuel to the growing speculation about a potential return. The former WWE champion spoke with Tijera Lucha Libre, where he was directly asked whether he wants to be involved in the ongoing WWE and AAA partnership, a hot topic ever since Rey Mysterio teased Del Rio's return after crowds began chanting his name. Mexico's greatest export did not dodge the question, as he made it very clear that he definitely wants to be part of the ongoing WWE and AAA partnership. Do I want it? Of course I do. These are things that, as I've said, aren't talked about out of respect for business agreements, both in wrestling and in other industries, but we've always been in contact. That admission alone confirms something is happening behind the scenes. According to Del Rio, he's not chasing a return out of desperation, he's choosing opportunities based on passion, not pressure. Today I only do what truly makes me happy and fulfills me. If it doesn't make me happy, I simply don't do it. He also took a subtle shot at unnamed talents who, in his words, coast once they secure a contract. Del Rio insists he has never been that type. What they see is transparency, a man who always works. And like you've seen, there's no Alberto Del Rio match where I go out there to slack off. You know there are many stars who show up, collect a paycheck, work 10 minutes, or just go out there to fool around. While nothing's been signed yet, Del Rio claims that the interest is mutual, and what happens next depends on both sides putting the right terms forward. It's about properly putting on the table the cards they want and the cards I want, and then it either happens or it doesn't. If it doesn't make me happy, I simply don't do it, so it's just a matter of time. But as far as wanting it, of course I do, and they do too. That's why we've always stayed in contact. All that's left for us is to shake hands and make it happen. Whether that handshake happens in 2026 remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, Del Rio's open to returning, the door isn't closed, and fan reaction is proving that there's still demand to see him back on a major stage. Should WWE take the chance and bring Alberto Del Rio back? Has his time passed, or does this partnership need him? Drop your thoughts below, the debate starts now. SmackDown opened with a quick recap of last week's events before cutting backstage to Cody Rhodes speaking with Aldis. Aldis reminded the undisputed WWE champion that if he so much as laid a hand on Drew McIntyre, he would be stripped of the title immediately, setting the tone for the night. From there, The Miz approached Aldis regarding Hendry, which transitioned into the first in-ring segment. The cameras cut to the ring where Hendry was preparing for a Christmas-themed musical bit, joined by superstars dressed in holiday outfits. Akira Tozawa even played the elf, perched on a turnbuckle. Hendry then performed a Christmas carol, taking a playful jab at The Miz, specifically joking about the A-lister's tiny balls, while Otis, dressed as Santa, danced around ringside. Miz eventually interrupted the performance and confronted Hendry directly, leading to a challenge. Aldis arrived to make it official, upgrading the confrontation into a Miracle on 34th Street fight. With the stipulation built for comedy and crowd engagement, the match wasn't meant to be a technical classic. Instead, it leaned into holiday humor, prop weapons, and character work. Anyone expecting a 5-star showcase would be disappointed, but if you went in anticipating Otis in a Santa suit and Christmas chaos, it delivered exactly what it promised. Both men played their roles well and worked to make the other look strong, but in the end, The Miz fell short as Hendry scored the win, a statement moment for the NXT standout on SmackDown. While the segment skewed toward younger fans and families, it served its purpose: light entertainment, character building, and a spotlight for Hendry. Should Hendry be fast-tracked to SmackDown full-time after this win, or stay in NXT for a little longer? Let us know your thoughts. In a surprise twist, the segment also featured the return of the Bunny, officially confirming that the Bunny is back on WWE television. And then came the curveball no one saw coming: R-Truth was revealed as the Easter Bunny. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. The women's tag team rivalry involving Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax continued this week on SmackDown, with Flair and Legend meeting one-on-one in a featured match. For once, Flair didn't enter with the physical advantage. Legend's size and power made her the dominant presence early on, putting the former world champion in the unfamiliar role of underdog despite her experience. Through the opening stretch and even coming out of the commercial break, Legend controlled most of the match. Flair eventually mounted a comeback, firing up the crowd with her signature chops and rallying momentum in the final act. At ringside, Bliss and Jax got into a brawl of their own, creating just enough of a distraction to shift the momentum. Flair capitalized, catching Legend in a sunset flip-style pin for the 3 count. It was a solid showing overall and arguably Legend's strongest performance on the main roster so far. Flair gave her the space to dominate large portions of the match, and it paid off. Legend came out looking like a legitimate threat in the division, while Flair still walked away with the win. Is Lash Legend ready for a bigger spot on SmackDown, or does she need more time before a title push? Backstage on SmackDown, Trick Williams was shown in conversation with Nick Aldis, but the most notable part of the segment was Trick speaking directly with WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. For Trick, this is a major moment. Being featured alongside the top champion on the brand signals that WWE is treating him like someone on the verge of a big jump. Trick made it clear that Raw is prepared to throw him the bag, and he asked Aldis if SmackDown could match or beat that offer. If this is setting the tone for his main roster run, then WWE may already be positioning him as a breakout star before he even debuts. Are you ready to see Trick Williams on the main roster? Should he sign with Raw or SmackDown? Drop your pick in the comments below. The United States Championship took center stage this week as Ilja Dragunov defended the title against Carmelo Hayes in a rematch from their December 5th encounter. Both men made it clear they wanted a clean finish after Tommaso Ciampa's involvement impacted the result last time. This was about setting things the right way. Just like their previous meeting, the tone was established immediately. Respect may exist backstage, but once the bell rang, neither man held anything back. Dragunov controlled most of the early moments leading into his striking and relentless pressure, but Hayes adjusted coming out of the commercial break. He countered the H-bomb with a jumping kick and followed with a springboard DDT that shifted the momentum in his favor. The crowd came alive, even breaking out in a "this is awesome" chant as the pace increased. Dragunov once again proved why he's one of WWE's most dependable big match performers, with Hayes matching him step for step. It felt like a showcase for the US title, aggressive, competitive, and worthy of the spotlight. In the closing stretch, the champion fought to maintain control, but Melo didn't miss this time. Hayes hit his finisher clean and scored the pinfall to become the new United States champion. Even though the outcome was leaked ahead of time due to the show being taped, the match still delivered. For fans watching live, the performance, not the surprise factor, was the story. Johnny Gargano attacked Hayes backstage while he was being interviewed about his title win, so it looks like we know who his first rival will be in 2026. And for Dragunov, should he chase a rematch or move on to something bigger? Let us know what you think. We got an interesting dynamic in this week's women's tag match as Giulia and Kiana James teamed up against Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre. What made it stand out wasn't just the matchup itself, it was the alignment. Both teams are heels at the moment, meaning there was no obvious babyface side for the crowd to rally behind. Still, Green's growing popularity led to her team receiving more cheers by default. James opened the match strong, holding her own against Green and Fyre. She's always been a standout athlete whose booking hasn't always reflected her skill level, and this bout was another reminder of what she brings to the division. In fact, she may have outshined Giulia early on simply because she spent more time in the ring. Despite limited time, the match delivered a solid pace. Both teams still managed to work in character moments, taunts, and submission attempts without slowing things down. The finish came when Giulia scored the pinfall on the United States champion, a result that feels deliberate and sets the stage for what comes next. With Giulia now holding a win over the champ, this likely points to another one-on-one match between them in the near future, and potentially a title challenge waiting in the wings. It's kind of sad to think about how much momentum Giulia has lost since coming to the main roster. Even her run as US champion felt underwhelming, which is not her fault. She just hasn't had the kind of booking she needs. A major announcement followed later in the night as SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis confirmed a huge matchup for next week's show. An 8-woman tag team match has officially been set. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss will team with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to take on Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. On paper, that's a loaded lineup, and it sets the stage for a chaotic clash between some of the biggest names in the division. It should be a fun one, and potentially a preview of bigger storylines heading into 2026. A new video promo from Solo Sikoa aired tonight, and it was clearly directed at Uncle Howdy. Solo delivered the message in a cold, controlled tone, hinting at what's coming for the Wyatt Six. Solo said, "The fireflies are fading away, the lantern's light is barely hanging on, and the broken souls that once gave Howdy purpose will soon start questioning why there's blood on his hands." He warned that when Howdy's world collides with his, everything changes. Solo didn't stop there. He took a direct shot at Howdy and the Wyatt family, saying they hide behind their masks, implying fear, denial, or unfinished business with the darkness they claim to control. The promo closed with Solo quietly whistling and singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands," echoing the haunting Wyatt legacy. Do you think Solo Sikoa is ready to lead a war against the Wyatt Six, or is he walking straight into their trap? Drop your thoughts below. We also saw a promo tonight from Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Black made it known that this rivalry with Priest isn't finished yet, and based on how the segment played out, it looks like next week's SmackDown will feature Black vs. Priest one more time, a final encounter to close the chapter. An Oba Femi vignette aired on SmackDown this week, and the message felt clear: WWE is preparing something big. The presentation was serious, focused, and framed like a superstar announcement rather than a routine teaser, strongly hinting that Oba Femi is heading to the blue brand sooner rather than later. Backstage, Nick Aldis pulled Kit Wilson aside and informed him that a new opportunity awaits next week on SmackDown. With Aldis keeping the details quiet and Oba's promo airing earlier in the show, a lot of fans are already connecting the pieces. It's very possible that this mystery opportunity could lead straight to Oba Femi stepping through the curtain. If that's the case, Kit Wilson may be the first to stand across from Oba in his SmackDown debut, setting the tone for a powerful introduction if Aldis decides to pull the trigger. This week's SmackDown closed with a contract-related confrontation between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. The stipulation was clear: if McIntyre apologized to the referee he assaulted and paid the required fine, he'd earn the right to choose both the time and stipulation for his next undisputed WWE Championship match. McIntyre offered an apology, but only in the loosest sense of the word. After acknowledging the incident, he pivoted into an insult, telling the referee he wasn't good enough to be a wrestler, which is why he became an official in the first place. The comment immediately shifted the tone and set the hook for Rhodes. The champion eventually made his way to the ring after being provoked, with McIntyre daring him to throw a punch and lose the title on the spot. Rhodes held back just long enough for McIntyre to strike first, landing a Claymore kick, then holding the WWE title over his head as the show went off air. The segment played out exactly as expected, but in a way that worked. McIntyre leaned into the heel roll, needling Rhodes and manipulating the situation to get under his skin, while Rhodes kept the emotional restraint necessary to sell the stakes. In the end, the closing angle effectively set the stage for their next championship match, a showdown that will happen on television rather than at a premium live event, which was arguably the biggest surprise of the night. With SmackDown expanding back to 3 hours next week, the table is set for WWE to bring out some major developments. Now it's a question of how they capitalize on that extra time and whether Rhodes and McIntyre can keep this story escalating. Should WWE have saved Cody versus McIntyre for a PLE, or is a championship match on free TV the right call? That's it for SmackDown this week, guys. Which segment stood out the most to you, and why? Sound off in the comments below. I want to know your favorite moment from the show. Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.